problem I find, living a life that I can't leave behind. There's no sense in telling me the wisdom of a fool won't set you free. That's the way that it goes, it's what nobody knows, while every day my confusion grows. Every time I see you falling, I get down on my knees and pray. I'm waiting for that final moment to say the words that I can't say. I don't think you're what you seem. I admit to myself, if I hurt someone else, I'll never see just what we're meant to be. Every time I see you falling, get down on my knees and pray. I'm waiting for that final moment to say the words that I can't say. Every time I see VOR family. Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here. Exciting times to be alive, eh? This past few weeks and months have been
I've got a better perspective about it. You know what? What a great time to be alive. So we're going to look tonight. Some of this information I've covered before, but as this week has unfolded, we've had some pretty big pieces of news come out validating what we've been talking about. I'm calling this episode Revelation 6 and the Rise of the New World Order. We're seeing it. It's happening in real time. So today was going to just be a news show. That was going to be my goal, is like whatever Biden came out and said we're in a new world order and a bunch of people are going to die. Zelensky took over full dictator style in the Ukraine. Wheat prices, oil prices, all this kind of craziness happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Revelation chapter 6. A lot of you who cover my work and cover this kind of information already know it, but I've got some images related to the different horses, white horse, red horse, black horse, green horse. So we're going to kind of cover that hopefully in about 5-10 minutes. And then we're going to look at the crazy things that happened this week. I'm not a fan of the Left Behind series. You know, I think you guys know that I'm either, we might not have a rapture, or there might be a rapture for the elect midway through or something. So I don't particularly love that idea of like, next thing is going to be Jesus coming. I mean, that would be great, but I feel like next thing is going to be hardships and suffering. I feel like that's what it says. But it's like we're watching the Tim LaHaye series or whatever that was, the Left Behind series. It's like we're watching it unfold, and it's pretty crazy. When Biden came out and said that we're in this new world order already, whatever Trump was in this, if you Google Donald Trump New World Order, the only time he said New World Order was when he said, we're not going to be a part of your New World Order. Why did he say that like George Bush? Can't do Donald Trump right now. Anyways, he didn't say that, right? So we had like a 4-year reprieve from talking about this New World Order. Well, then everything went absolutely nuts with coronavirus and now this Russia-Ukraine thing. And so to have the president of the United States come out and say, we're either in the world order or the new world order is here, was really heavy. I did a show on TikTok on Tuesday, and I covered it a few times. And we had almost 90,000 total viewers for that show. It was crazy. We had, 2,500 people there for a couple hours. And just covering this information, getting feedback from people. Everybody feels it. I mean, you get the trolls, obviously, that come in and are like, no, you're stupid, you're a clown. But like everybody else is like, yeah, this is crazy. We're here. So I'm hoping to kind of finish this with a call to action. I'll start with a call to action. Those of you guys that know what's going on, you need to store up some wheat in your grain house. Nobody has a grain house, but this is kind of Joseph in Egypt kind of thing. So store up some wheat. You should try to have enough caloric reserves to get you through the winter. Try to do that. And I know you might not think you have the money now. Get a credit card. Use your credit card. Do something. Store up some food, because it could be a tough winter. And that's kind of what everybody's pointing to, including, and hopefully if I can get there, Biden coming out today and saying food shortage. It's going to happen. So, okay. So let's start with this Joe Biden clip. One of the craziest things I've ever seen in the news. I'm sure everybody's seen this. When I write these shows, I kind of have to, I think about like the, few dozen of us that are in constant communication through Discord, or, you follow the TikTok lives. Those happen in real time, obviously. I'm like, a lot of these people know this, but then these videos get a couple hundred views or whatever. Maybe not everybody knows it, and they can skip it if they don't want to see it, but it's pretty clear to me what's going on. So check this out. Joe Biden says,
I believe in the world economy, not just the world. We are at an inflection point. I believe in the world economy, not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations.
Okay.
As one of them is.
We're in an inflection point that occurs every 3 to 4 generations. So a big part of the theme of what he's going to talk about here is that what is coming, what we're in, is the kind of thing you see every, let's say, 100 years. What do we have 100 years ago? We had the Spanish flu, followed by the Dust Bowl. So World War I, Spanish flu, Dust Bowl, World War II. Right? This is what he's talking about, the first 50 years of the 20th century. He said he's going to say 60 million people died at that point, and he's speaking with his military advisor, and they're like, yeah, this is happening again. So, history repeats itself. We hear that all the time, right? But it does. And why? Because we're in the Matrix? Maybe. That's maybe why it repeats itself. Maybe it's epigenetic. Maybe it's curses of the fathers. Or maybe it's just that the devil knows how manipulable and programmable and engineerable we are. As I was studying for the piece of content that I meant to make tonight, but I had to switch gears because of this thing that's coming up with Voice of Reasons. We have a special guest coming in, and I don't want to talk too much about that. Just pray for our protection with that. It's kind of a big deal. But when I got news today that was happening, I had to switch from what I was planning to work on, which was from Jesus to Einstein, covering how Jesus taught minimalism and Einstein taught philosophic materialism, which results in consumer materialism. And I'm still going to do that series probably next week or the following week. But anyways, as I was covering that, I had this studying Edward Bernays. If you know the name Edward Bernays, do your own research on the guy. One of the most influential people you've never heard of. He was the propaganda meister who he influenced Goebbels. He set the level of programming that we have, and he actually started introducing this idea of programming. What did he call it? Elective consent or guided consent, something like that. So what he did is he figured out how psychologically he could manipulate people to want the thing that they probably shouldn't have, that isn't good for them, right? Jesus is always talking about do the things that are hard, because if you do things that are good, you appease your flesh, and it ends in just madness. Like, that's kind of where that always ends up going. So Bernays is like, yeah, we're just going to appease the flesh, and we're going to sell everybody everything we want to. And a big part of what he was doing was this merger between politic and corporations. And so he was going to use his influence in corporation to steer the democratic system. He even said that. So when you have Zelensky and Trudeau and Schwab and all of these guys saying Biden, he's going to say it on here, liberal democratic system. Okay, what they mean by that is that they get you to think the thoughts they want you to have, so you vote for the things you think you want that you don't want that are bad for you, that's good for them, right? I think that follows. So they figured out a long time ago that they could basically prey on your carnal desires and your carnal fears, your deep-seated subconscious. They could steer that into the larger funnel or direction that they want. And what they want is this secular, democratic, world liberal order, right? They've been wanting this for a long time, and they're getting it. The president's going to say he's got it here. So anyways, why was I going there? He says every 3 to 4 generations. Okay, check this out. God says 70 years is how long you would live, 80 if by strength. So figure 80 years. 80 years is 3 to 4 generations. Okay? So what they do is they pull these hijinks off, these shenanigans off. They wipe everybody out. They redistribute the wealth. They accomplish whatever they want to. Everybody's super afraid of it. Like, if you have great-grandparents, they had a cellar with a bunch of canned food in it because they went through the Depression. They're always like, you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. And they have to wait long enough that you forget about that and that we lose our contact with our ancestors. They need you to lose your contact, that information download from generation to generation. By the time of the 3rd or 4th generation, you don't know your grandparents. You don't know how bad communism was. You don't know how bad the Depression was. And you're just like, oh, this is great. Well, they waited us out, and they're doing it again, right? Spanish flu, World War, Dust Bowl, Great Depression. Well, this is where we're at again, okay? And this is what the president's saying. How did I pull that much out of like 30 seconds of what he was saying? I don't know. I apologize. Here we go.
It's the generations.
Let's start
we are at an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway,
So anyways, whatever. Sorry, I let the cat out of the bag there. That's the President of the United States saying that, well, I was meeting my military advisor in a secure meeting, which means back room. And he was like, remember what happened 100 years ago and 60 million people died? That's happening now. Okay? Like the famine, the war, those things that happened 100 years ago, they're here, Mr. President. So, but hey, we got a new world order to deal with this, right? This was always their plan. We talked about that over and over and over. Walter Cronkite, Bush Sr. I actually want to show you this. It's funny, I make the show notes and then I don't at all do what I was planning to do. So check this out. Chrome tab, George H.W. Bush. This conversation, I'm going to play it and then I'm going to show you something really crazy about this. We don't all remember this, but I do remember this. I was old enough to remember this.
A new partnership of nations has begun, and we stand today at a unique and extraordinary moment. The crisis in the Persian Gulf, as grave as it is, also offers a rare opportunity to move toward an historic period of cooperation. Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order, can emerge. A new era. Free.
Okay. So, 32 years ago, he was saying a new world order. Out of this event, a new world order can emerge. Okay? He said this on 9/11/1990. Kidding me? The date. 9/11. 11 years. You ready for this? He said this on 9/11/1990, which was 11 years to the day of 9/11/2001. Look at that. 9/11/90, 11 years before 2001. 9/11/9/11. That's fun, right? And you can see this happen. A new world order it could happen. Be out of this tragedy, it can happen.
Gulf, as grave as it is, also offers a rare opportunity.
A rare opportunity.
To move toward an historic period of cooperation. Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective.
Our fifth objective.
A new world order can emerge.
Can emerge. Okay. So the point is, this isn't a new thing. They've been working on this for generations. 32 years ago, he made that announcement. Now Biden's going, yeah, well, we got this really crazy shit going on. It's bad. And a new world order is going to come out of it. So we did it. Yay. New world order. And there's actually even footage of him the next year saying, a new world order will happen. And it will happen. And he has a wry smile. They were always planning to do this, right? And why? This is a really important point. Why would the world's psychopath elites want to work together? Right? That doesn't make any sense. They're psychopaths. Why? They have a multi-generational, multi-state, multi-country, multi-incident corroboration. People that don't think this is a battle between God and the devil, and that these people aren't united under their god, the god of this world, the devil, you need to read the Bible, because Jesus was taken to a high place by Satan, said, hey, you can see all these kingdoms, you can work for me, and you can run them. Who's the number one, who's public enemy number one right now? Jesus, the name Jesus, Christianity. This is a one world secular order like they put on the dollar against Christianity, basically, right? Okay, anyways. So having this happen in real time is really crazy. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do the Revelation 6 thing. I'm going to show you how it looks to me anyways, and a lot of us, that we're seeing the chapter of Revelation 6 play out in real time. So I'm going to do a quick breakdown on that, and then we're going to go back and look at the news for this week. Obviously, we started with Biden and the New World Order talk. We're going to look at what's happened this week to really kind of validate or cement where they're going with this. And as I talk about this, I just want you to keep in mind, like, you know, call your father, get your father on the phone, call God, and store up some wheat if you can. Don't be afraid, but let's try to coordinate. If we can work together or work in your neighborhood or whatever, and try to be self-sufficient as much as possible, because, you know, they want to do a cyber attack. I don't know where these food prices are going. And if you buy non-perishable food, worst case scenario, you're buying it ahead of this I'm going to say inflammatory, but this inflation scenario that's happening. So, okay. Some of you have seen this, some of you have not. But this is important. See if I can do it in 5 minutes. What do I think is going on? What do we think is going on? This is craziness. This is when Revelation starts in Scripture. Like it's the 6th chapter, but the first 5 chapters are like housekeeping, like stuff going on in heaven administratively, and then it comes to the earth. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, come and see. First thing we see, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Well, a lot of people thought for a long time that was Jesus. White horse, peace, whatever. A guy in my live the other day on TikTok's like, that was Jesus. No, the Lamb comes much later. He's opening the seals. He didn't open the seal and then show up on a horse. It's a different character. And you don't know if they're good or bad or not, but they bring bad things. Okay, check this out. White horse. He that sat on him had a bow. Okay, that word bow in Greek is toxon. Word history, the Greek word toxin means bow or arrow. From this came the Greek toxicon, meaning a poison in which arrows are dipped. Okay, so they would dip the arrow into poison, because if you shoot someone with an arrow, it's like, ow, arrow, that hurt. Take it off, whatever. Well, if it's laced with poison, it gets the poison, it injects it into your bloodstream, you're in trouble, right? Okay. I'm just going to leave that there. So here we go. White horse, he that sat on him had a bow. Okay, guy on the white horse has a poison-tipped arrow. And a crown was given unto him. Corona is crown. It's corona. Okay, this guy made a corona crown, which is fitting, but it looks like the shape of a crown, right? Corona. This is why they called it the coronavirus. The spike protein looks like a crown. This crown is too much. Okay, so let's read this again. It's like a pictogram. You just can't imagine the Bible could be this accurate. Yeah, it's crazy. This was written 2,000 years ago. Behold, a white horse. We think the white horse is the medical establishment, right? White, sterility, lab coats, clean, peace. White come in peace. He that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. Okay, that's all pretty fitting, right? And he went forth conquering and to conquer. Bill Gates is the 28th great-grandson to William the Conqueror. White horse, bow, crown, conquering. I mean, you can just, whatever. my stupid fairy tale book and my Sky Daddy, you get that all the time on TikTok. You couldn't possibly cryptically hide more information about an individual than that. That's crazy, right? Okay. So that's the first thing that happens. The first thing that happens in the dissolution of the old world and the introduction of the new world. And I behold a second seal, and I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there was another horse who was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another. Would you say that the Russia-Ukraine thing has taken peace from the earth? Everybody's up in arms, nuclear war is coming, Putin's in a base, whatever. People are like leaving cities. They're like, yeah, nukes are coming. People do not have peace right now. And then Red Horse, I said this back in August. To me, that seemed like Russia, China. Russia's red flag, China's red flag. Communism, it's kind of the color of communism is red. So you have coronavirus, then you have this communist war situation taking away peace from the earth. And then we have the third seal, and this is probably the coronavirus one is really hard to beat, but check this out. Third seal, and I heard the third beast come and see, and I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny. See that you do not hurt the oil and the wine." Well, that doesn't mean petrol. That means like liquor and like anointing oil, olive oil maybe. Okay, so a measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny. Well, one of the translations, because we don't know what is a measure, what is these denominations, we don't know. From what I understand, another translation says a day's wages for a loaf of bread. You work all day for a loaf of bread. That idea to me when I was a kid made no sense. That idea to me 5 years ago didn't seem likely. You heard about I don't know if it was Venezuela, I forget where it was, but they were paying like $1 million, whatever their currency was, for bread. And I'm like, how could that happen? Well, the answer could be hyperinflation, right? And let me tell you this. How this happens isn't an organic event. I want to explain something to you guys. In my belief system, in my research, none of these kind of things that have ever happened to humanity have been an organic matter of happenstance. Okay? We largely want to work, get food out of the ground, protect our families, and die of old age. That's like the thing. Give us some freedom. Let us serve our God. Let us, coach our son's t-ball team, whatever. It's not like we got to go get those guys and we got to do this thing, we got to do that thing. These are usually contrived. It doesn't matter if it's the death of Franz Ferdinand to get us into World War I or the burning of the Reichstag and everything going on with World War II. These things are contrived. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. I don't know what it came from. Okay, so we would have been fine, just kind of cruising around. Well, now these things are happening to us, right? They've had this Russia-Ukraine card to play for a long time. We know about the lab leak theory for this white horse scenario. And then Schwab and co. are heavily behind this Great Reset hyperinflation scenario. So check this out. This is amazing. I love this. I've been passionate about this stuff for a long time. I remember doing prophecies like in the 90s. Oh, this is this person, this is that person. These are the barcodes on the cans. I've always loved this information. I think it's really cool. And I do think that it changes. I think that if this doesn't happen this time, good luck having a more accurate white horse scenario. But anyways. Okay. Lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. This is so important. Close these out, clean up a little bit. World Economic Forum, okay? If you've researched this logo, this here, this OOO, has this circle going through the center of it, which bifurcates these O's. And you've got a 6 here, you've got a 6 here, and you've got a 6 there. Right? Happenstance, whatever. They just needed this half-moony thing. CERN does it, Google does it. You see it everywhere. So there's 666 in there. And then the cool thing to me is that this looks like a scale. Well, a scale should be equal, right? You have one scale here, and then the post in the middle. And the idea is, I'm trading you weight in wheat for weight in rice or whatever, right? Oh, it's equal weight. Cool, we got a deal. Well, God says that he hates dishonest scales, the use of dishonest scales. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord. Okay, well, if you saw Noah Harari talking about how he's going to be God, they're going to be God, they're going to play God and re-engineer life in their image and not some God in the sky. These people are about abominations to God, right? The beast had blasphemy and speak blasphemy against the name of God. Okay, so an unfair balance is an abomination of the Lord. This is what an unfair balance looks like, right? This is a really good example. You got the heavy side over here, but that would be too obvious. The way it is deceptively accurate or deceiving yet advantageous is that you weight it by some sort of trick of cunning. That's why God hates it. It's about taking more than your fair share. So they weight them in an unfair way. So the guy gives away more, gets more than he was giving, which, if you do this for multiple people in the aggregate, you take 3% there, like Office Space and the pennies, 10% there. At the end of the day, you make money that wasn't yours by stealing. God hates this, okay? Look at this. Post in the middle. I want you to imagine this from above looking down. You'd have this circle, and you'd have this circle, and you'd have this circle. I believe that this is intended as a 666 logo and as an unfair balance. It's an unequal scale on purpose, right? You've got the high and the low end. So I think this is a full affront against God, an abomination, if you will. And I think it absolutely fulfills what's going on here. So you've got the white horse, which would be coronavirus. You've got the red horse, which could be this war with Russia, Ukraine, that's causing a lot of problems, which leads to this black horse where it's a day's wages for a loaf of bread. And then the fourth seal ends up being the pale horse. Death comes with him, death and hell, and a fourth part of the earth is killed. And look at this, with sword and hunger and with death. I didn't even read that today. So the next thing that happens, right? Corona, conflict, hyperinflation, is that a fourth of the earth is killed with sword and with hunger and with death. I mean, to kill with death is a little bit redundant, so whatever. Let's just say a fourth of the world dies. Does anybody know what they're saying we're going to be short in with the wheat production? They're saying 20% of the world's grain isn't going to be produced. And that's before these other problems that I'm going to show you. So the next thing that happens is a fourth of the world dies. Well, where are we? I think we're past Corona, although you're hearing about new variants. I think we're in, 4 weeks of this Russia-Ukraine deal. Then you've got, we're not in hyperinflation yet. We're in sucks inflation. That's a technical term. I watch a lot of, financial broadcasts. It's a technical term. We're in sucks inflation, but it's going to get worse. Okay. So next thing is this green horse, which by the way, it's pale horse, but it's the word chlora, which could be green, could be the green deal. We know that they want to go World Economic Forum, Great Reset, Fourth Industrial Revolution, and really baked into that is this climate deal. It's like a big part of this. They really want this climate thing. It's like the last straw, right? You get nothing and you'll be happy with it. Okay, so I got all that done in 30 minutes. That's good. So now we go to the news and how we're seeing this unfold. We already saw the president say New World Order. Here we go. Russia's Ukraine war hurts U.S. wheat farmers as fertilizer prices skyrocket ahead of spring planting season. Okay, yeah, I have Mills. Russia's sanctions are now hurting American farmers in a big way. Russia's responsible for a large chunk of the fertilizer market, and Moscow is no longer willing to sell to the West. So you've got the wheat issue coming from the Ukraine. 20% of the world's wheat, 18% I think is like the accurate number. A large chunk of the fertilizer market. I said this, a month ago when this thing first broke. I was like, I said watch out for the wheat prices, the oil, and the fertilizer. Go back and watch the video from about a month ago. And now they're just reporting on it. Gunderson's family's been farming wheat, soybeans, and corn in the Northwest Minnesota since the 50s. Everything was going up drastically because of supply shortages, high energy cost. I was setting up a lot of stuff. Now you start eliminating some other markets that you got to get products out of, and it's going to be very scary. Very scary. He expected the weather to throw him a curveball in farming, but not a war. Okay, let's talk about the weather. Severe drought and dust bowl conditions threaten to create a disastrous winter wheat harvest in the U.S. This is March 20th. This is all this week. Food prices in the U.S. have already been soaring, and now we are on track for an absolutely horrible winter wheat harvest. Cool, so we can't get wheat from the Ukraine. We can't get fertilizer from Russia. And we're not growing our own wheat. In the huge successful live show we had last Tuesday, somebody asked about HARP. Yeah, maybe they're guiding the moisture around. Maybe it's a drought. Maybe it's judgment. Maybe it's standard thing. Maybe it's climate change. Who knows? Disastrous, horrible winter wheat harvest. Of course, this comes at a time when the war on the other side of the globe is going to greatly reduce wheat exports from Russia and Ukraine. Wheat prices are already risen 69%. Already. Today. It's a 90-day. We have 90 days of food supply in the global food supply. I was going to say chain, but it's not that. It hasn't. Whatever happens, it takes 90 days, from what I understand, to get here, and it's already gone up 69%. So imagine a scenario where your dollar is worth less. Oil is going up tremendously. If you've seen the video of the farmers trying to refill their tankers, and it used to be like $6,000, and now it's like $20,000 or whatever the crazy outrageous number is, and it's still going to keep going up, right? It sure would be nice if we could open up our own pipeline. I mean, I'm not a president, but that seems like a good idea anyways. That's going to affect it. Not having fertilizer is going to affect it. This is a big problem. Okay. But at least that's all, right? Wheat, corn, fertilizer. Now, there's also a bird flu. 12 million chickens and turkeys. I'm assuming these kind of things happen. I don't know. I try not to get my information from places like Zero Hedge or Fox, but Fox and CNN are reporting basically the same thing right now. But I try not to go like too conspiracy with my content that I share with you guys or my sources. But everyone needs to start paying attention to this crisis because America's rapidly growing bird flu pandemic is going to deeply affect all of us at the grocery store. This pandemic began on February 8th when a confirmed case of HPAI was confirmed. A confirmed case was confirmed. See? Solid journalism. In a domestic flock. So this started in a domestic flock. And then 2.8 million birds are now dead in some place and 12 million everywhere else. Confirmation of the bird flu at another Iowa egg-laying farm will force the killing of more than 5 million chickens. 5 million chickens suddenly gone. What do you think is going to happen to the price of eggs? Okay. So, look, I'm not trying to be a sensationalist with this. It seems like I'm doing that. I'm not trying to fearmonger. What I'm saying is this is the kind of set of events that you're going to need to have like a day's wages for a loaf of bread, right? So again, coronavirus, Russia, Ukraine thing, which when Soros played this card, is the brilliant card because it shuts off the oil between Russia and the U.S. It stops the wheat production. It stops the fertilizer production. It ramps up all these arms sales. America's just pouring hundreds of millions of dollars over there. Everybody is, because war is expensive. I wonder who's making that money. Probably not the us's. So anyways, you have this thing kind of brewing. So what I want to explain to you guys, like, don't be afraid. Just do some preparation, right? Get some wheat stored up. Because if 20% of the world's caloric output is gone, either people are just going to eat less or less people are going to eat, right? Or both. Okay. So What other New World Order stuff do we have going on? Everybody's favorite supervillain, Cass Trudeau, made a deal in Canada. Trudeau says liberal deal with the NDP means stability for Canadians. Like I said when I was covering this Yahoo, everything he says is anti-truth. He doesn't even lie. He speaks anti-truth. In return for supporting the liberal agenda, the NDP are expected to receive movement on a national dental care and pharmacare plan, as well as additional action on climate change. So this is what you get. You get dental care and health care if you make less than $90,000. But basically Trudeau gets to stay in office forever, and they get additional action on climate change. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But an expensive pact that includes new dental care and pharmacare will allow Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to govern until 2025. He made a deal to give you free dental care, and in exchange, he's the undisputed ruler of Canada for the next 3 years. What this means is that during this uncertain time, the government can function with predictability and stability, present and implement budgets, and get things done for Canadians, Trudeau said. In exchange for the support, Jagmeet Singh said he entered into the deal because it would mean tangible results. Conservative leaders slammed the backroom deal. Power grab by the Prime Minister. Canadians have woken up to, in essence, the NDP Liberal majority government. I think we have to let that sink in. The confidence supply deal. Anyways, through 2020. So, New World Order guy stays in power, gives you free things, and gets to stay in power through 2025. Just, you can't even get him out of office. I've been saying this for a while. I hope I'm wrong. I have a hunch that we're not going to have an election here. I hope I'm wrong. But I could just see us having some sort of crazy emergency situation. They're like, yeah, well, we can't afford to do an election right now. We're just going to stay in power. So that happens in Canada. One of my Canadian friends sent me that. They're freaked out. The dude's never going away. He's never going away. He's going to rule until Jesus comes. That's Trudeau's plan. He should just make a bumper sticker that says, Trudeau, dictator till Jesus comes. All right, here's another New World Order puppet. Zelensky nationalizes TV news. Well, that's a nice way to say that. And restricts opposition parties, right? This is the Yahoo version. Sounds nice. He nationalizes TV news and restricts opposition parties. You got to restrict those people that are opposing you, right? On Saturday and Sunday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky invoked his emergency powers. Here we go with the emergency powers again. Under martial law, to suppress several opposition political parties and implement a unified information policy. A unified information policy. I'm going to elaborate on that in a second here. In an address to the nation delivered Sunday, he announced a temporary ban on any activity by 11 political parties. The 11 political parties are every one of his opposition. Okay? Let me start to reword this for you. He implemented martial law. He streamlined the news to only the sources that he can put out. And he stopped, and banned all of his opposition. So Trudeau's doing this up in Canada, and Zelensky's doing it out there. These two pillars of liberal democracy. Can you guys see the problem here? Can you see the problem? Remember I was talking about Bernays a little bit ago. The liberal democracy, the liberal world order that they're pulling off, that we're talking about, is the masses accepting the forced propaganda being pushed down their throat, social engineering, manipulation, to be okay with their own demise, their own enslavement, their own tyranny, right? You think that the tyrants and dictators in other oppressed countries let the news say, yeah, you're in a dictatorship? No, research North Korea. You have to worship the dude as a god. And like, if you don't, like, bad things happen. They always say this is good for you, or this is good. What, are you against the state? They play this game of like liberal versus, conservative, and it ends up always becoming this ultra nationality thing, and the government says that you're against the state, so you're a problem. Holy shit. Please see this. I know you do. I hope this... I don't know who this has to reach. This liberal democratic world order they're talking about is them shaping the narrative through propaganda and social engineering for the masses. And what I mean by that is 51%. I mean, 51% of people are... I think we have more than that. Look at the Russia-Ukraine response. It's a lot more than that right now. But it's getting people to go, well, yes, of course coronavirus is bad, and of course a mask is good, and of course, that is good, and of course Russia's bad, and of course these things. They just tell you this. And if you doubt it now, we're in a position that if you doubt it, they just shut you down. Or disappear you or whatever. Or you're just Zelensky and you just shut down the opposition. Or Trudeau, you shut down the operation, any opposition, and you control the narrative. If you control the narrative and the only thing that anybody can say is that your government's good, your democracy is going to probably get unanimous support. This is brilliant. It's diabolical. I talked to Zulu a year ago on this, my second interview, I think. First or second interview. And he said diabolical. This is diabolical. New world order. New secular, liberal, progressive order. It's great. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Free abortions for everybody. Cut off your genitals. We're going to be tyrants. No one can oppose us. What's the problem? Why don't you like this? You should like this. Well, they didn't like it in Canada. They got their money froze and they got punched in the mouth. And the small fringe minority is going to be ever more scrutinized and marginalized and extremized. And they're going to have no one left to oppose them. Meanwhile, the world hero, Zelensky. I'm going to go in on this a little bit more. The ban includes the opposition platform, For Life Party, which holds 43 seats. Opposition platform, For Life, is a pro-Russian party, but on March 8th, the party leader Yuri Boyko demanded that Russia stop the aggression against Ukraine. That same day, blah, 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 was accused of treason against Ukraine in May and escaped from the house arrest shortly after the invasion began and was removed from his post. Zelensky's information policy involves combining all national TV channels, the program content of which consists mainly of information and or information analytical programs, into a single information platform of strategic communication to be called United News. I've been saying for almost a year now that 1984 called and said to stop using it to describe these times because we're sullying its names. 1984 is embarrassed to be associated with this thing, the United News. Zelensky said the measure was necessary to combat Russian misinformation and tell the truth about the war. Tell the truth. Whose truth? I closed out a window there that I didn't want to close out. That's a bummer. That makes me sad. Let me see if I can get it pulled up here. Where was it? What's cool is a lot of this information is actually coming from our Discord group. If you guys aren't in the Discord group, please join us. We've got a bunch of like-minded people in there. We share this kind of information. Wow, I just felt like a really opportunistic person. I'm like, join the Discord and share information with me that I can share on my channel. I'm like, I feel like Zelensky all of a sudden. Okay, join the Discord and don't share information with me. Unless you want me to send it out to hundreds and hundreds of maybe thousands of people, depending on which platform it's on. Okay, check this out.
Nothing more to report. With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. Nothing more.
Including European countries and our country. Food shortages are real. It's going to happen. That's going to happen. So remember the whole you'll own nothing and you'll be happy? And you remember the whole nothing, you won't have a car, everything will be delivered to you by drone? This is how, okay? When you're starving, when you, not you, hopefully, nobody, when rhetorically anyone is starving and they don't have the things and they can't drive their car because they can't afford to drive their car, the idea of Go Fresh drone delivering you some food that you rent is going to sound pretty good. So you'll own nothing and be happy. This is how we do it. So if you remember a few weeks ago, I said that the World Economic Forum plan was you'll own nothing and be happy. You will have everything delivered by drone, and America will not be the world's superpower. It's already not. It's not anymore. Russia, China got together and they're like, yeah, we could totally kick your ass if we wanted. So, and Biden's like, we're arming the Taliban, and anyways, whatever. Let's just say it hasn't been a good year. It hasn't been a good year for us, unfortunately. Let me see if I have any other news pieces. Oh, I do. One more really uplifting thing to end on. Here's George H.W. Bush, the other 9/11 from the Dallas News, where he said that out of these troubled times, the New World Order can emerge. We covered that already. Check this out. March 20th. This is all this week in news. That's why I said news update. All this stuff happened this week. Like, if you remember, I was like going to get off of Canada, and I couldn't because every week it was something crazy new, some crazy, like, generation-defining event up there. And then I went to Russia, Ukraine, and I'm like, I'm going to get off Russia, Ukraine, which I did. I'm actually off Russia, Ukraine a little bit. Now we're here. The president says we're in a new world order. Everybody says we're out of food. And then this. Brave New World just got more real with the first mammal ever born from an unfertilized egg. Not exactly nowhere, but close enough. I'm going to read this really quick, and I'm going to give you some VOR breakdown on it. What if you looked in the mirror and knew that you came from only one parent because another wasn't necessary to create you? I've been saying on this show that they're going to so repurpose God's order that at one point it will be outlawed to have biologic coitus resulting in reproduction. It's going to be too dirty and dangerous and disease-ridden, and you're going to, I assume they're probably going to want to sterilize us all and then let you design your baby through some, as it was in the days of Noah thing, right? Maybe it's not exactly the dystopia Aldous Huxley envisioned and was brought to life in the Peacock TV. Peacock is NBC, if you guys don't know, where human embryos were conceived in vitro and grown in glass tanks. So this came from the Brave New World. Brave New World, that book. If you're going to read two books outside of the Bible Code, Brave New World. Everything you ever need to know is in those three books. Throw in a little splash of 1984. Let's see. But the possibility of creating another human from only the mother's genes is kind of like a Brave New World altverse. Clones, more like parthenogenesis. This phenomenon, literally meaning virgin birth, occurs in some reptiles and other creatures, but never mammals until now. Asexual reproduction is not a thing among mammals. That changed when the international team of researchers managed to turn unfertilized eggs from male mice into actual embryos. All of them survived for a while, and one even made it to adulthood. Parthenogenesis happens when an embryo develops from an unfertilized egg, but sexual reproduction in mammals requires both male and female DNA. This defied it. Listen these words. This defied it. Oh, congratulations, you defied God's natural order. Winning. You guys are really killing it up there. Are you bored? Are these assholes bored? Are they bored? Hey guys, you know this whole male-female thing? What if we just do it without that male? Let's just do it. Sweet, we did it. We win. Whatever. Maniacs. Absolutely lust for power maniacs. Parthenogenesis is limited because of problems arising from genomic imprinting. Anybody who believes in evolution just needs to just let that go. I'll just say it that way. It's time to let that go. It's not a thing, okay? Not a single cell in my body believes in evolution. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It didn't happen. Think about this idea that mammals need a male and female. You need them both, okay? which means that at one generation, they both had to evolve at the same time, complementary and counter anatomic structures and functionalities, the same generation. Because if the asexual switched to male sexual and didn't find female sexual, done, end of the line. And you can't just mutate that over generations to get it right. You can't. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. Listen to this. In mammals, parthenogenesis is limited because of problems arising from genomic imprinting. And this happens all at the DNA level, by the way. Not in a like, oh, I'm going to work through this broken leg until it heals itself. This is at the DNA, like the printing level of how biomaterial is created. The researchers said in a study recently in PNAS, PNAS, it's not a great name. Great, they need to come up with a like. So we're the Public National American Science Institute. How about PNAS? Sounds good. They're not like, let's call it like SNAP or NAPS. They call it PNAS. Whatever, can't make it up. The researchers said in a study recently published by PNAS, adding that parthenogenesis can be achieved by targeting epigenetic rewriting of multiple critical imprinting control regions. It's a computer program. It doesn't happen by chance. This is intelligent work right here, and they're like working really hard knowing how the DNA works. None of this would happen by chance. Anyways. Oh, look, parthenogenesis doesn't happen naturally in mammals, and previous attempts ran into DNA glitches. Man, the DNA is designed to do this thing, and we're trying to get it to do this other thing. But it's like, not how it's supposed to be. Something's trying to stop us. But we're God. Because mammalian conception needs genes that can only come from a male parent. You want to read that again? Mammalian conception needs genes that can only come from a male parent. Think about that evolutionarily. And then ask yourself why you believe this shit. Seriously, why do you believe it? Somebody told you. I didn't mean to go into this. I debate a lot of atheists. I debate scientists. I debated a geneticist the other day. People want to be critical of us because we believe that an intelligent designer designed this. And we learned of an intelligent designer from somebody that told us and or the book that we believe in, the Bible. They don't believe in intelligent designer. They think it happened by chance. They think that these impossible, improbable events were just happened. And guess how they believe it? Because somebody told them and or they read it in their book. Okay? The only reason why they think they have any intellectual high ground is because through their indoctrination, the people that they learned from told them that people that don't believe them are incapable. It's the same way that the elites, Zelensky, it's the same thing. Oh, we canceled you. You can't say that. You can't say that. I better not say that. I can't say that. That's how they do it, right? Sorry. I'm actually going somewhere with this. That's nice to kind of rant on YouTube. I don't normally do it on here. The research team solved that problem. Solved that problem of needing a man. By editing certain female genes with CRISPR technology. The scariest thing that's happened recently. No, that's not true. There's a lot of scary things going on. One of the million very scary things going on right now as we try to destroy ourselves, as they try to destroy us. Until they were the same as if they had come from a male. So they reshaped the key to be the same shape as the male key. But they're like, hey, you didn't need the male. They repeated the process with several eggs. These were then implanted into the female's uterus and allowed to grow. They went from embryonic to fetal stages to actual living offspring, one of which eventually able to produce its own offspring. Okay, whatever. Great. Congratulations, guys. I hope you won a Nobel Peace Prize for your blasphemy. Okay. Now, read this through the Voice of Reason's schema, my worldview. You ready for this? Brave New World. They do that intentionally. They do this intentionally because they announced it. Aldous Huxley didn't hit his head. He didn't go to bed, bump his head, and not wake up in the morning and have this weird prophecy. He knew it, okay? Aldous Huxley was cousins with D.L. Huxley, I believe, who was married to Margaret Sanger. The Margaret Sanger that started Planned Parenthood, the eugenicist, Nazi-influenced. If you guys, let me know in the chat if you want me to Google that, I'll show you. Aldous Huxley was in the room, in the back rooms. He knew the agenda. He knew 100 years ago, or 85 years ago, whenever the book came out, that they were going to do this, okay? It wasn't a guess. This is a multi-generational coordinated effort by the enemy of God. He knew this was coming. It wasn't a guess. Brave New World. Right, that's what they use. Yeah, Brave New World, just like we said. It's a brave new world. Brave New World Order. This is brave. We're brave. We're brave, defying God. That is actually pretty brave. That's the one piece of truth I'll give them. This is brave, and it's going to get everybody killed, and they're going to all burn in hell. It sucks. It's a bad idea. Okay. It just got more real with the first mammal ever born from an unfertilized egg. Does anybody see the problem with that? The first ever mammal ever born from an unfertilized egg. It's never happened ever before. We know, science. It did happen one other time before. It did happen one other time before Jesus. The Immaculate Conception. Okay? So in the headline, Brave New World, Brave New World Order, Brave New Anti-God World, Death of the Old World, the New Secular Order, the New Anti-God Repurposed Reality, first line, second line. Just got more real with the first mammal ever born from an unfertilized egg. Of course, people don't believe Jesus was born of a virgin. That's like one of the things you hear. Like, oh, of course, Mary shacked up with a Roman soldier. We would never believe in a virgin birth or a resurrection. That's why, like, sometimes people ask me what I believe in. I will say, I believe in Jesus, born of a virgin, died on the cross for our sins, and resurrected from the dead. Those are crazy things to believe, but you have to believe them. Well, you don't have to. You can choose not to, but I think that's a part of being a Christian anyways. I believe that. Okay. Here it is. Just got more real with the first mammal ever born. Maybe that was just, they didn't think that through. Maybe that wasn't intended to attack Christ. Let's see, though. What if you looked in the mirror and knew that you came from only one parent because another wasn't necessary to create you? Clones, more like parthenogenesis. This phenomenon, literally meaning virgin birth, parthenogenesis, occurs in some reptiles. Interesting, right? Reptiles and other creatures, but never mammals. Never happened. The virgin birth never happened until now. Do you see this? I hope you guys can sense in the very DNA of the construct of this article. This is anti-God, anti-Jesus. This is anti-Christ information. Literally meaning virgin birth had never happened in mammals until now. And in their wisdom, they've accomplished the unimaginable. They've done what even God couldn't do in his intelligent design, his natural design. In their intelligent design, they've done it. God help us. Thank you, dear brother Pete, for saying that. I've got news for you. I'm trying to keep it on the down low, though. But I'll be giving you an update here soon enough. Okay, what else was there? I think that's all. So anyways, housekeeping at the end of this. Start to get some of these tabs closed out. Things are going really well on the TikTok channel. We'll see. Hopefully we can keep that account going because we're having some really successful live shows. Like I said, that last one we had almost 100,000 viewers. It was like 90,000 viewers. So I think I'm gonna go over there tonight. I haven't decided yet, but I wanted to give you one update. We've got a do you know who? Sam, thank you. Wow. Apparently we have super chat. Thank you for the gift, sister. God bless you. Thank you. Okay. We've got a thing coming up with Voice of Reasons that we've been praying about. It's kind of a big deal. It's something that's very important to me, as I've always had a vision of doing something similar to what we're having the opportunity to do. Preserving information and honoring the lives of people. I've always kind of wanted to do that. So we have this opportunity to do this thing that I kind of have to be hush-hush about. But if everything goes well, I'll be able to give you guys updates in the next couple weeks. So that will be the focus for the next 10-ish days, pretty exclusively. So I don't know if I'll be doing the YouTube show next Thursday. And the TikTok show on Sunday is in question too. So stay tuned on that. And please just pray that God's will is accomplished with this and everybody's protected. And it goes, that's a blessing for everybody, what we're working on, because it's cool. It's a kind of thing that I couldn't have coordinated on my own. So everybody involved, thank you. And yeah, please keep us in your prayers. And I want to make this announcement. I love my life. I love my God. I love my family. I love my job. And I very much want to live out all the days of my life. I would never do anything to the contrary, okay? So God protect us. And thank you guys for another night. Thank you for being here. It's an honor to be able to talk with you guys and share this information with you. So don't be afraid. Call your father. Okay? Love you guys. End transmission.